Hello students, today we are going to learn about subkingdom non-chordata from animal classification. This is the part 3 of the chapter animal classification. So let us start with subkingdom non-chordata. What is meant by non-chordata? In simpler terms, I have explained this in previous video that non-chordatas are the organisms which do not have spinal cord which supports their dorsal side of the body. Now let's start with Porifera. Protozoa is not included in this list. So let's start with phylum Porifera. There are several points in every phylum which indicate their characteristics. So based on that characteristics, we can classify them into the particular phylums. Let's start with phylum Porifera. These animals are with simplest body plan and are called as sponges. They bear numerous pores on their body. Those pores are called as ostia and oscula. Now we all know what is meant by pores. Pores means the small holes which go through and through. So the phylum Porifera, the animals, the organisms which are included in phylum Porifera have simplest body part. Okay. Now they are mostly known as sponges and they have many pores which are also known as ostia and oscula. Next point, they are aquatic animals, means they live in underwater. Most of them are marine and few are freshwater dwellers. Marine means the animals which live on the surface of the ocean. Surface, you mean by the surface I mean that the depth of the ocean, in the depth of the ocean. And marine water dwellers means on the waves. Most of the animals have a symmetrical body. Now we all knew about the symmetrical and asymmetrical body. Let us recall the definition of a symmetrical body. In case of such body, there is no any such imaginary axis of the body through which we can get two equal halves. Okay. Now symmetrical and asymmetrical. Symmetrical type of body part is the body part where there is an imaginary axis, a particular imaginary axis through which if we cut through, then we will have two equal parts. But asymmetrical body part is actually the opposite of symmetrical part. We can define these by their names. Now asymmetrical body part means there is no such imaginary axis through which we can cut and obtain two equal halves. These animals have special types of cells known as collar cells. Okay, these animals are always attached to substratum, hence do not show any locomotion, hence they are referred to as sedentary animals. Sedentary animal which do not move from their place. Okay, and they do not do locomotion. Locomotion means walking. Okay, walking and movements. They stay at their spot. Their spongy body is supported by spicules or spongin fibers. Spicules are made up of calcium carbonate or silica. In short, we can call that as the part of there are few organisms on the surface of ocean that have calcium carbonate in them. Now the organism which have more of that calcium carbonate and fiber, they are automatically considered in the phylum Porifera. These animals feed upon small organisms taken in their body along with the water. The water is taken in through ostia and given out through oscula. We have learned about these poles from in the first point, ostia and oscula. Ostia is the entrance and oscula is the exit. Through ostia the water enters along with the small organisms. Small organisms are then absorbed by the sponges or organisms, and then the water is released through oscula. This is very simple process, not like the human digestive system. These animals reproduce by budding, an asexual method or by sexual method. Besides, they have good ability of regeneration. These points are very simple to understand, so I am not going to through and through. This will take a lot of time if you go to simpler details. Okay, examples are Sycon spongia, meaning bath sponges, and Hyolinema and Euplectula, etc. Now let's go to the next phylum, phylum Coelenterata, or more known as Cnidaria. C is silent, remember that. Body of these animals is cylindrical or umbrella like. If it is cylindrical, it is called as polyp, and if it's umbrella like, it is called as medusa. Very simple. If it's cylindrical, it is polyp, and if it's umbrella like means the stems are growing above the organism, then it is known as medusa. Stems, or we can say body parts. Most of these animals are marine, only few are freshwater dwellers. These points are very simple, so you do not have to go through them with detail. Body of these animals radially symmetrical and diploblastic. Radially symmetrical means, now let's recall that point once again. We have recalled it in the previous videos. Radial symmetry. In this type of body, if imaginary cut passes through central axis but any plane of the body, it gives two equal halves. Example, starfish. In case of this animal, there are 5 different planes passing through the central axis of the body, through which we can get two equal halves. Now radial symmetry means there is one particular imaginary axis through which we can get two equal halves or more than two equal halves. For example, starfish. Simple. And they are diploblastic, means they have two germ layers. Okay. Next point. Nidoblasts bearing tentacles are present around the mouth. Now nidoblasts bearing tentacles are the tentacles which is used to catch their prey. Tentacles are useful for capturing their prey, whereas nidoblasts inject the toxin in the body of the prey. Toxins means harmful substance which immobilizes the prey. Those are useful for protection too. Okay. Examples, Hydra, Adamasia yani sea anemone, Cilia, Portuguese man of war, Aurelia, jellyfish, corals, etc. All these are examples, are very interesting organisms. You should Google it up to know about them more. Now let's get to the next phylum, phylum Platyhelminthes. Body of these animals is slender and flat like a leaf or strip. Now if you open the page number 68 of your textbook, you will see a flat liver fluke or planaria. These two animals look exactly like the sentence we just described. Hence they are called as flatworms. They are totally flat, they are big, not too big, but at least they are visible with naked eye. Most of the animals are endoparasites, which means dependent on other organisms. Okay. Few are free living and aquatic. Very few are free living and most of them are aquatic. Okay. Body is acoelomate and bilaterally symmetrical. Bilaterally symmetrical means there is one such imaginary axis through which we can get two equal halves, and or we can also say that we can get two equal halves or we cannot get two equal halves. Next, there are triploblastic, that is their body is made up of 3 germ layers, endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm. These animals are hermaphrodite, which means bisexual, that is male and female reproductive systems are present in the same animal body. Examples, planaria, liver fluke, tapeworm and etc. Now let's go on to the next phylum, which is Aschelminthes. Body of these animals is long, thread-like or cylindrical. Hence they are called as round worms. These are these animals are we mostly know them. They come out during the rainy seasons from their hibernation. These animals are either free living or endoparasites. Free living, endoparasite, which depend on other organisms. Note down the meaning so I do not have to repeat them, or you can get it right when you hear it. Free living animals are either aquatic or terrestrial. They are either aquatic or they live on the ground. Body of these animals is triploblastic, means they have 3 germ layers, and pseudocoelomate, which means they have false cavity. Eucoelomate, true cavity, pseudocoelomate, false cavity. Simple. Body of these animal is non-segmented and covered with tough cuticle. Non-segmented means they do not have markings on their body through which you can cut and obtain equal parts, and they have tough cuticles. These animals are unisexual. Example, Ascaris intestinal worm, filarial worm, loa, eye worm, etc. Now these worms are especially interesting, so you should check them about internet. You will get a pleasant surprise from the videos. Now let's move on to the phylum Annelida. Body of these animals is long, cylindrical and metamerically segmented. Now these bodies are long, cylindrical and metamerically segmented, means they have a particular part of the body which is segmented and the rest of them are not. Most of the animals are free living, but few are ectoparasites, means they suck blood from their hosts. Free living animals may be marine or freshwater dwellers or terrestrial. These animals are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical and eucoelomate. Triploblastic, 3 germ layers. Bilaterally symmetrical means they either have imaginary axis or they don't. And eucoelomate means true cavity. Okay. Now let's move on to the next point. They have setae or parapodia or suckers for locomotions. These are the body parts through which they can suck the bloods from their host. Their body is covered with special cuticles. Cuticles are the, you can call it skin, which is mostly moist. Okay. These animals are either hermaphrodite or unisexual. Hermaphrodite means bisexual or unisexual. Examples, earthworm, leech, Nereis, etc. Okay. Now let's move on to the next phylum, which is phylum Arthropoda. These animals have jointed appendages, hence they are called as Arthropoda. Jointed appendages means means their body parts are jointed, okay, and mostly they have wings. Planet Earth has highest number of animals from this phylum, hence this is the largest phylum with highly successful animals in animal kingdom. So which is the phylum which is the biggest phylum in the animal kingdom? Phylum Arthropoda. Okay, these animals are found in all types of habitat ranging from deepest oceans to highest mountains. Body of these animals is triploblastic, 3 germ layers, eucoelomate, true body cavity, bilaterally symmetrical, means they either have imaginary axis or they don't, and segmented, means if we cut their body parts in equal halves, then we will get 2 equal halves. Chitinous exoskeleton is present around their body, means type of, now chitinous is type of carbohydrate. Okay, these animals are unisexual. Examples: crab, spider, scorpion, millipede, centipede, cockroach, butterfly, honeybee, and etc. Now there is a reason why this Arthropoda phylum is the biggest phylum in the animal kingdom. Now let's move on to the another phylum, phylum Mollusca. Body of these animals is soft and slimy, hence they are referred as mollusks. Mollusk means soft. Okay, this is the second largest phylum in animal kingdom. These animals are aquatic or terrestrial. Sorry, these animals are aquatic or terrestrial. Most of the animals, or you can say most of the aquatic mollusks are marine, but few are freshwater dwellers too. Body of these animals is triploblastic, 3 germ layers, eucoelomate, true cavity, non-segmented and soft. Except animals like snail, their body shows bilateral symmetry. Their body is divided into divisions like head, foot, visceral mass. Visceral mass is covered with mantle. Mantle is the part of the head, or you can say the protective shell. Their body is divided into 3 divisions like head, foot, and visceral mass. Visceral mass is covered with mantle. This mantle secretes a hard calcareous cell. This cell may be external or internal or even absent in some cases. These animals are unisexual. Example: bivalve, snake, octopus, etc. Now let's move on to the next phylum, phylum Echinodermata. Calcareous spines are present on the body of these animals, hence they are called as echinoderms. These animals are found only in ocean. Their body is triploblastic, 3 germ layers, eucoelomate, true body cavity, and it is radially symmetrical in adult stage. However, they show bilateral symmetry in larval stage. Now the marine organisms or animals like starfish are included in this type of phylum. They perform locomotion with the help of tube feet. Tube feet are also useful for capturing the prey. Some animals are sedentary, means they are attached to a rock. They do not move from their original place. They have skeleton made up of calcareous spines and or ocellus, which means plates. These animals have good ability of regeneration. They regenerate at the good speed. These animals are mostly unisexuals, means they are either male or female. Example: starfish, sea urchin, brittle star, sea cucumber, etc. Okay. Now let's move on to the next phylum, phylum Hemichordata, which is the last phylum of the subkingdom Non-Chordata, which is also the last phylum in this video. Okay. Now Hemichordata is present between Chordata and Non-Chordata, which means this is the link between Chordata and Non-Chordata. Okay. Body of these animals is divided into 3 parts as proboscis, collar and trunk. Proboscis is the higher part of their body, which means you can call it as the head, and collar is the neck of these organisms, and trunk is the latter part of their body. Notochord is present in the proboscis region only. Okay, hence they are called as hemichordates. Now they have notochord is present, but only in the half of their proboscis region only. Therefore, they are known as hemichordates. Okay, not non-chordate, not chordate, but hemichordates. These animals are also called as aconworms. Okay, these are marine animals, live in burrows and in sands. Okay, These are marine animals, live in burrow and sand. They have one to many pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, they have they have one or more than one pharyngeal gill slits through which they respirate. They are unisexual, or some may be hermaphrodite. Unisexual, male and female differ, or hermaphrodite means male and female are in the same organisms. Okay, example Berangulosus and Cephalopolysus. So this was it for this video. I hope you understand all the phylums which we have discussed till now. So if you have any doubts in this video, you can comment and ask me. So if you like this video, like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.